Hi, my name is Frank White and welcome to another one of my YouTube videos. Today I am going to talk about light modifiers. The light modifiers that I'm going to talk about today are what I like to call CCS light modifiers. Cheap China stuff, or cheap China S. You can substitute stuff for whatever you want. Okay. The downside about using the CCS stuff is it doesn't help the American economy when I buy stuff directly from China. Number one, even if I bought it from a middleman who bought directly from China, then some of my dollars would go to that middleman. Of course, I pay a little bit more for it. Second of all, and this is one of the things that I really am concerned about, is that the quality of the CCS merchandise is not always up to par. This stuff that I've been using has lasted, so far it's been holding up, but I have gotten stuff directly from China and the quality was suspect. And suspect stuff don't last. Thirdly, and most importantly, is some of the stuff that come out of China are really done with labor that's been exploited. And you know, I don't like the idea of purchasing stuff from sweatshops. So I have made it my policy going forward to buy stuff that I know that I can reasonably suspect is not manufactured in overseas sweatshops. Of course, my best insurance against buying good stuff that's made from manufacturers who treat their employees good is to know the manufacturer and kind of have some idea of how the manufacturer treat their employees. I would hope that Phototech and some of the other well-known brands and light modifiers wouldn't employ sweat labor to make their products. Okay, but I digress. The first light modifier I'm going to talk about is this CCS light modifier, this little plastic one that you can get on eBay, usually for around $5, I think. It's been quite some time since I've gotten any of my CSS stuff, so I really don't know what it costs anymore. But this light modifier goes on the front, and I've heard goes on the front of your speed light, and I've heard some photographers complain that this particular type of speed light doesn't really do anything, and I beg to differ with that. It may not do much, but it does spread the light some. If you know, it depends really on how it's used. I usually use this as when I'm shooting outside and I need a field light. You know, I'm using the sun as my key light or my main light, and I need something that I can use to kind of get rid of those raccoon eyes. So this little guy here fits the bill. In all honesty, I don't use it that often. I have other light modifiers that I tend to use a little bit more often than this guy. Here's another CCS light modifier, and this guy goes on pretty quick and easily. In fact, all of the light modifiers tend to mount relatively easy. But the light source of this modifier is large enough to actually make a difference. It takes the little light source here and turns it into that size. So that's that size. So that's quite a difference in size. I think just looking at this light modifier, I would say that it's probably about 5 inches or so. Again, it's been a while since I've ordered these things, and when I ordered them, I think they were measured in centimeters, and I don't recall the measurement, the exact measurement. Let me just get it on so that it at least has an aesthetic appealing look to it, which is to have it look a little bit as square as I can to the light, to the speed light. And let's see, so let's get it in there. Well, while I got it open, one of the things I do like about it is it has that shiny aluminum on the inside of it, and that should be the case with most of these type of light modifiers, so that the light will bounce around on the inside of the speed light and not get absorbed, so you don't lose as many stops of light when you, so you don't lose that many stops of light when you use these things. Okay, so this is the way this one looked, and if I turn it on, then I'm gonna fire it off, and of course you won't see it, but it works. And I'll put up a picture of me. I'm your model. I put up a picture of me using this light modifier. Now, the final light, now I've got another light modifier that comes in a little bag for quick storage, and it's actually a little bigger than the one that I just used. This one comes up to a fairly good size. It takes a little bit more time to set it up because it has some diffuser material in here that needs to be mounted. So, but it mounts pretty quickly. So if you can see what I'm doing here, I'm going to stand up. So this one mounts here, and pull that guy out and mount this one to this one. Let's see, get it turned to the right side. And same with this one. And the final one. So when the light goes off, it's gonna be diffused, and some of the light is gonna escape. So I get a bigger piece of diffusion material to capture and diffuse that escaping light. Okay. So with that said, my light modifier is set up. Finally, I just mount the speed light in on the inside of it and strap it down, and I'm gonna turn it downward in this 90-degree turn. And I usually use a larger, right now I've got an EX430 on it, and I usually use this with a larger speed light. So because this particular light modifier is a little big for the EX430, but you get to see the idea behind using these guys. Often what I do is I handhold these light modifiers while I snap the picture, since they're so portable. I rarely take pictures with my speed lights on the camera body. That's not to say I don't. If I'm running and gunning and don't have time to set up light modifiers, I don't have the modifier ready, then my cameras do have pop-up flashes that I have been known to use, or if I can get a speed light on it, then I will. The final light modifier that I'm going to talk about is the Snoot, which takes a bigger light source and turn it into yet even a smaller light source, so it kind of focuses a narrower beam of light on the subject. I usually use this Snoot as a hair light to kind of emulate the sun. Now, one of the things I don't like about the Snoot system is that I had to mount Velcro around my speed light in order to give it something to attach to. That said, it attached literally in seconds, so that's a good thing. But you know, using the Velcro means that I can't attach it to any speed light. I have to make sure that I have a specific speed light with me if I intend to use the Snoot, and which is why I mounted it to a speed light, to one of the speed lights that I use least often. As I mentioned before, these portable light modifiers I usually handhold, except for the Snoot. I usually will mount this on a light stand when I use it, so that I can use it. Well, of the light modifiers that I've talked about today, this is probably the only one that I will use in a professional setting. The other three, as I mentioned, I use when I'm running and gunning, and need something that I can attach to my speed light and usually hand hold, whereas otherwise I tend to use much larger softboxes or shoot through umbrellas to modify my light, which I'm not going to review in this video. But that I hope I've been able to give you some idea of the CCS speed light. So, you know, if you really want to get started and you really need to put the bulk of your money towards gear like lenses and camera bodies, then these CCS light modifiers is certainly a way to get started. But again, bear in mind that it's quite possible and maybe even probable that the labor that make these things could be exploited. So could be labor that's exploited, people that are working in conditions that that as an American I really don't want to think about, but I realize that it exists. So again, going forward, it's not my plan to continue buying CCS merchandise. So thanks guys for watching my YouTube video. I hope I have been able to provide some information that you found useful. Please take a moment to subscribe and like this video. If you have any questions or comments, please drop them in below and I'll be sure that I get back to them. Get back to you and give you whatever answers that I can provide. Thanks and have a good day.